Thank Let me know if you guys can hear me all right. I don't know if the audio's fixed or not. Okay. I think we're on. I hope. Let me know if you guys can hear me. And okay, good. All right. You let me know if you guys let me know if you can hear this okay, and get these get things started here. Check, check, check. Okay. Someone says a bit louder. Okay, let's see if we can get this a bit louder. I don't want to do that. How about that? Check, check, check. Yep. Output. There we go. How's that? Any better? Too loud? Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Let me know how that sounds. Too loud, too soft, too poppy, and then we'll go from there. I'm using some new equipment as always, and of course, I sat here for an hour working with it, and everything was working fine. And then, of course, 30 seconds before the show starts, I'm like, I can't hear anything. Okay, they say it's good. I'm gonna test that. Hang on a second. Okay, let's try this one more time just to make sure I got it right. Okay, now I'm unmuted. I was talking with it muted. So I've got some new audio gear here and video gear too, but I'm trying it out and trying to test this. So you guys let me know if it sounds okay, and if it doesn't, if it gets too loud or too soft, just let me know, and we'll take it from there. So now the reason the, the reason I've got this new sound gear here it's because my laptop is not a touch screen. Okay. The reason I've got this new sound gear here is because I thought it'd be fun. Not necessarily for this show, but for future stuff. Because it's sort of a podcast. It's one of these podcast mixers, and so you can do kind of cool stuff like that. You know, do little noises like that, and or you can do let's see here. See if you can hear this one.
Yeah, baby.
Okay. So yeah, so it's got a bunch of stuff you can do, pre-made stuff you can do. Stuff like that. So I don't know quite what to do with it yet for this show, except I've got a couple ideas, but uh, hopefully later it'll come in handy. What I'm hoping to do is some in-person podcasts with some of the other local YouTube people, and then and we can use this to better advantage. So, but yeah, they got kind of like our iCarly. Yeah, it's like that. They got let's see here. We got that's wrong answer. I think we got stuff like that. So, anyway, um, so we'll see how we can use that during the show. I don't know, but someone wants me to do the Austin Powers one again. Hang on a second.
Yeah, baby.
So this kind of puts me back to my high school announcing day. When my son was playing baseball in high school, I did this. I sat up in the score booth and did the announcing of the players, and also did music in between innings. And then I also had little bumper things like that you would do whenever uh, whenever something happened on the field. So if the pitcher struck someone out, you'd go,
Yeah, baby.
and stuff like that. So, uh, kind of getting back to the old stuff here. Anyway, so we're gonna talk about some stuff. I'm gonna take some questions at some point. We'll talk about some stuff behind me. Maybe we'll run a train or two. I've got an idea about that, but I'll get back to you on that. Um, yeah, and so we'll go from there. So um, I hope everybody's having a good holiday season. I'm doing a live show a little bit early. Usually I do it on New Year's Day with the Christmas Bonanza, but I'm having surgery on my knee on New Year's Eve. Not at night, but during the day on New Year's Eve, and um, so I likely won't be in any condition to do a live show on January 1st. Um, so so that's why we're doing it now. Otherwise, usually I do it at the end of the Bonanza on January 1st, but so um, the and then of course, yeah, someone asked about the giveaways. We'll do some giveaways. Calm down. um, so yeah, so that's going on. I've got Lisa's here. She might drop in for a few minutes because I know a lot of you guys like it when she's on the show and says some stuff. So, so she might drop in for a few minutes. Um, so Yeah, thanks for the prayers and stuff like that. It's not a life-threatening operation or anything. I'm getting knee replacement surgery, so my knee is trash. So I got to get it replaced. So that I'm going to be out uh, for probably a week or two. I hope just a week or two. We'll see. I should do a Spaceballs bumper. I didn't have time to do that, but I used to have when I did the baseball stuff. I had all sorts of. Probably had about 50 or 60 different sound bites that I would do, and they were from all sorts of movies and just it was a lot of fun. So kind of trying to do that again. Um, so I guess we'll start off by talking about what's been going on lately with train stuff. There's um, well, just yesterday. I mean, it came out a couple weeks ago or so, but I picked up my new. I should switch to my live feed so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. I picked up the new TIU to install on my layout. I have not installed it yet, um, but I'll probably get to that maybe later tonight or something like that. Because I don't really, my current TIU works fine, but it is starting to have issues here and there with some of the inputs. So it's I've been wanting to replace it for a while. So I was waiting for the TIU to come out to come out. So um, the good news is that it has the wireless built in. The bad news is that it has you can't use the physical remote. You have to use the app. Well, like, you can use the physical remote if you use a really, really, really long phone cable, I think, which I might do. Um, so that should be cool. I had it upstairs last night. I was checking out. There's a back end interface that most people probably don't care about, but it's a back end interface that you can log into called Lucy, and you can change some settings. You can change the Wi-Fi SSID and stuff like that. And then I was like, this looks like it's running Linux of some sort. So then I SSH'd into it, and it is running Linux. It's running OpenWRT, and so I was able to snoop around on the Linux file system and change the host name, which you couldn't do through the interface, and some other stuff. So it was kind of fun uh, going in from the back end. So, um, but yeah, so looking forward to installing this thing, and I think I'm gonna have to set up all my engines again because I don't think that you can move them from the remote to the app. But it's not a big deal. I'll just set them up again. So should be fun. And then we've got the I have no idea what that means. Um, then I'm gonna then we've also got a few months ago the Base 3 came out, which is kind of old news now, but um, uh, Base 3, I've heard good things about the WTIU because it's made by MTH, so um, it's going to be good. It's going to work. The Base 3, on the other hand, its bones are good. It's good. It's got good bones, I guess you could say, but it does have some issues to work out. I think they've put out a couple updates so far, and um, so um, we'll see what happens with we'll see what happens with the Base 3. I actually don't use the Base 3 app very much. Really, the only time I use it these days is when I try to access the uh, some of the Crew Talk sounds. It's a little easier to access specific ones through the Base 3 app. But I mean, quite frankly, I think I like the remote. I might be old fashioned that way. I know sometimes you can sound like a old guy when you're like, I like the old remote, and I don't know why they ever changed it. but it's the app is okay. I would use the app more if it worked, if it was a little better, but it's still got some issues. And um, all right, uh, Kenneth Lambert, I don't know. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but this is your warning one more time. I don't know what that is. Um, so yeah, I like the base. I mean, the thing I do like about the Base 3 is I connected my Cab 2 remote up. I paired the Cab 2 remote with the Base 3. That is a match made in heaven. That is great because the Base 3 has way more range than the old Cab 2 did, and um, so it's I used to have quite a few dead spots here in the basement where the legacy remote just would not work because they couldn't get a good signal. Now, uh, way better. I wouldn't say it's perfect because there's a lot of walls and interference down here, but it's probably about. I mean, it's way better than it was before, noticeably better. Uh, there's fewer dead spots than good spots, which is a good thing. I never had dead spots here in the main room, but when you go back to the back rooms, you would get some dead spots, and now most of those dead spots are gone, which is great. So I think the best combination is actually combining the Cab 2 with the Base 3, and that is a great combo. So if Lionel ever decides to bring out another full featured legacy remote, I think that would be a great pairing. I don't think they are, but maybe they will. I don't know. Um, it depends on how well they manage the Cab 3 app. Um, yeah. So um, someone's got the Cab 1. Yeah, the Cab 1. Cab 1's okay if that's what you started off with. I started off with legacy, so for me, the Cab 1 has always felt a little like I've got a blindfold on because I can't see what engine I'm controlling on the thing. So, but it's I think it's probably better than using the app because the app leaves a lot to be desired. I think the app has a lot of potential, but what I think Lionel needs to do is they need to hire. They need to hire a person or multiple persons, and their only job is the app. That's what they do. You know, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week is the app. And then they can work out all the bugs and work out all the issues and add features that we actually want. And then I think it'll be okay, because the MTH app is good. The MTH app, like I don't feel like I'm handicapped. Like if I go from the legacy remote to the base to the Cab 3 app, I feel like I'm losing something. I feel like I'm handicapped a bit. When I go from the DCS remote to the DCS app, I don't feel that much of a gap. It's a little different, but everything's there and everything works. So, uh, you know, anyway, um, so that's the WTIU and the and the Base 3 story. Um, I've been thinking about doing a video on both. I didn't want to do a video on Base 3. I originally didn't want to do a video on Base 3 right when it came out because I think the dumbest thing people can do, and I'm sorry if you're one of those people, but I think the silliest thing you can do is when a new product comes out, especially it's one thing if it's an engine or something that they make all the time, but when something like the Base 3 comes out, um, and the Cab 3 app, I think a lot of people wanted to review it the first day it came out because they wanted to be the first one up on YouTube or Instagram or what have you to be reviewing it, and that's not a very useful review. A more useful review is working with it for a while and then reviewing it and saying, "Hey, I've been using it for the last 3 months. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. This is what I think they need to fix. This is what I think works good." That's a good review in my mind. being the first is not always the point. So same with the TIU. When I uh, after I've used it for a few weeks or so, um, I will I'll do a video. Yeah, even if it blows up the YouTube algorithm, I just think that's dishonest. I mean, I don't um, you know, tailoring your videos for the YouTube algorithm, trying to be a slave to the algorithm is a slippery slope because you can it's kind of like the Star Wars on the dark side, once you start down that path, it's like if you start second guessing yourself all the time, you start putting out content that you shouldn't put out, you start being someone that you're not. And eventually, yeah, you might get a lot of views and stuff, but um, is it worth it? I don't know. I guess someone else would have to answer that, but yeah, I think it's nice to be true to yourself, or at least as everyone likes to have the algorithm like their videos, but it's like I don't want to do that at the expense of just crappy content. I mean, um, so that's that. It's the same with car reviews. Everyone wants whenever there's a new car, everybody wants to be the first one to show the car because they want to get all the views, which um, that makes a little more sense. I mean, a car is a car, so I don't know. Maybe I don't know. That's just my feeling on it. I just wanted to do an informed review and not just spout out these are the features and these are then this is the app and this is the base and this, and I wanted to actually say, I've been using this thing for a couple months and this feature really doesn't work and this feature sucks and I really like this part of it, but I don't like that part of it, and I thought that would be better. Anyway, um so I've got some stuff behind me. The Yesterday we had a Christmas party for my local train club, and every year when they have the Christmas party, they do. What are my thoughts on the Cybertruck? Yeah, you don't want to know my thoughts on it. Um, the We did a Christmas party, and every year when we do the Christmas party, um, see, someone else said it. I despise rushed reviews. I mean, a rushed review, it'll get you a lot of views. It'll help you in the algorithm and everything. But in the long term, you know, I'd rather have I'd kind of rather have video that's useful in the long term. And, it doesn't just give you a summary of what you already know, I mean, it's, it's kind of like, I mean, new car reviews are sort of like that. A bad new car review just spits out the stats of the car. They show you the features of the car. They might drive the car for a few minutes, and it's okay. But I think a better car review would be one where it's are the ones where it's I've been driving this for 2 weeks. I've been driving this for 2 months, and this is what I think about it. So because every car looks great when it's brand new. It's how it's going to behave down the road that is the most important thing. So anyway, we have this Christmas party, and every time we have the Christmas party, we have we have a raffle, and so each year people bring things to be raffled off. So each year we do the raffle, I'll go through my stuff and try to find a couple of things that I'd like to bring to the raffle, and I try to make a lot of people in the club will just bring junk they don't want and hope that somebody else will appreciate it, which I guess is a thing. But I try to find stuff that is at least cool that I think someone would like. So like for this year, I brought um, a Menards box car with flashing lights. I brought a Conrail, Rail King Conrail hopper, and what was the other thing? Menard. Oh, and a Lionel like a 027 Comet uh, tank car, which is a really nice car. and they're nice. And they've been under my layout. I don't use them very much, so I said, okay, I'll put them in the raffle. So anyway, while I was doing the raffle, I was under there looking at some stuff, and I found some cars that I kind of forgot I had, and they're kind of cool. And there's just a few of them, so I thought I'd show them to you real quick. So this is a Rail King. A Rail King crane. What's the word? Let me see. So this is a American crane car, and this is a CSX variety, and it's actually really nice. I mean, it's not motorized or automated or anything, but it comes with little cranks that you can crank it up and down. Not unlike the Atlas. Well, was MTH, but now it's the Atlas crane cars. But it's the Rail King version, and it's nice. You know, it kind of folds up like that, and got to be careful of those strings, make sure they don't get tangled everywhere. But it's a nice little crane, and I was like, I should probably put this on the layout and give it some time on the layout, because it certainly hasn't been on the layout in a number of years. It's just kind of been stashed under there, waiting in limbo. So kind of cool. And then I actually have another one. I have a second one. That I had forgotten about. This is the Great Northern variety. So let me take this out real quick. I think there's several. MTH made several cranes, some nicer than others, but this one actually pretty nice. I mean, honestly. I really can't tell it's a Rail King product, other than it. Maybe it's semi-scale. I don't know, but it looks pretty close to scale to me. Sorry, I'm probably hitting the mic. But yeah, so this is the Great Northern version, and it's really pretty, you know. And it's got two cranks. There's oh gosh, one goes in here on the side. And that, let's see what that does. Yeah, that brings the big arm up. And then the other one, I'm assuming, is going to lower the hook. Oh, there it is. So. So there it is. Pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing what you'll find, what I find under the layout sometimes. You find stuff that you just totally forgot about. That's one of the reasons why I eventually started. Where did I put that? Okay. Why I eventually started. There we go. That's one of the reasons why I like to have all of my engines on display, and why there's display cases everywhere down here with either engines or cabooses in them, for two reasons. Number one, it's a bunch of reasons. It makes them easy to access the engines. You can see what you got, and you can grab it and run it. Number two, it's fun for guests to see all the engines. Number three, when I would have engines under the layout, as I accumulated more engines, it got to a point where sometimes I would kind of forget that I had an engine. It would kind of get tucked under there, and it sounds ridiculous, kind of like a first world problem, but you forget you had it. And so this way I know I can see what I have, and for the most part, and not forget what I have. And then the cabooses I like to have on the cases, because it's anytime you're running a train, you can say, oh, I'm running a Penske engine, just grab a Penske caboose, and there we go. Don't have to root through boxes under the layout to try to find the right caboose. So that's why there's engines and cabooses for the most part on the shelves. But yeah, so I found that stuff. Then I found some other stuff. Just interesting stuff. And this is all Rail King, because when I first started in the hobby, way back in the Stone Age, in 2004, 20 years ago, 20 years ago, I was buying sort of indiscriminately. I really didn't know, the difference between semi-scale and scale. I just thought it was all O gauge, and I would buy whatever I thought looked cool. And then later on, as I learned and said, okay, I got a scale engine, I should run it with scale rolling stock. I started buying less Rail King stuff, and I sold some of it off just because I didn't run it very much anymore. But I still have some, and some of the Rail King stuff is pretty darn close to scale, if not scale. I mean, a lot of the Rail King stuff is scale. It's the old Premier line stuff that Lionel would demote to Rail King, and then they make a new fancier one for the Premier line, which is a really good way to run your product line. I'm looking at you, Lionel. So that was a really nice thing they did, and it kind of made all of their stuff trickle down from the top, which is the way it should work. It's really funny how much stuff you can learn if you have a company, like a train, you make trains or whatever you're making. It's amazing how much stuff you can learn from the auto industry, because um, a lot of the same lessons apply, and one of the worst things a car company can do is design a car from the bottom up. You have to design them from the top down. So you can't take a cheap car and then upgrade it and call it a Cadillac or a Lexus. You have to develop the Cadillac, the luxury car, the fancy car, and then strip it down to the less expensive car. And that's how it works. And anytime in automotive history, that most of the time when companies have done that, where they've started off with the cheaper car and said, well, let's just gussy this up and make it a Cadillac or make it the top of the line, people saw right through it. And they said, well, why am I going to spend twice as much money for when I can get the same, they saw right through it. So it's probably the same thing with trains. You can't take a cheap train and gussy it up and call it Vision Line. You should start with Vision Line and then let everything trickle down. All right. Which is what Lionel used to do when the Vision Line first started. They used to do that. They used to develop new Vision Line models with all sorts of cool features, and then those features would trickle down into the lower the lower priced models, the non-Vision Line models. So whistle steam, swinging bell, cylinder steam, all those things sort of trickled down from the Vision Line. Nowadays, I was telling somebody the other day, it's probably been like, to my knowledge, and I mean, maybe some correct me if I'm wrong, but to my knowledge, I don't think Lionel has tooled up a brand new from scratch Vision Line model, maybe for 10, going on 10 years, maybe. What was the last one? Maybe the Centipede. Maybe the GG1. I don't know if that was brand new or if they just upgraded existing stuff. But most of the Vision Line stuff they do now, they take a less expensive model, less expensive in quotes, and upgrade it to Vision Line. So they took the Niagara. They already had the Niagara. They added some more bells and whistles to it, pun intended, and called it Vision Line. The Class A, I believe they already had that tooling in some form or fashion, and they upgraded it and called it Vision Line. The Triplex was a MTH Premier Line model. They've upgraded it to Vision Line. So that's kind of what they're doing these days, is they're taking lower stuff and bringing it up to the Vision Line, which I guess, it's okay. But in my mind, the Vision Line really, when it started off, was not like it is now. It was really about doing cutting edge stuff that had never, not only cutting edge features, but cutting edge engines that had never been done before, like the 210-10-2, the CC2, the Centipede, the The 700E, they had done that, but it was a really new interpretation of it. I think it was a new tooling. The Genset, the Evolution Hybrid, all of those first few years of Vision Line were all just revolutionary stuff that had never been done before. They were spending a fortune on it, and they were charging a fortune for it, but that was okay, So now it's not quite the same. So it is what it is. All right, so let me see here. So this is another Rail King engine that I found under the table. And oh, we got a super chat from John Donahue. Thanks, John. That's awesome, man. Thanks a lot. So this is a little fire car, a Rail King fire car. How neat is that? Got a little spool of a little hose up there, a little movable hose right here, and a tank there, which I assume would store water or some sort of fire suppressing chemical. But yeah, pretty cool. I seem to recall I broke something on this car, but I don't see anything broken. Maybe I'm remembering wrong, but yeah, pretty cool little car. And then lastly, we've got this one that I found. This is a Rail King Union Pacific plow. It's basically a kind of a work caboose type of thing that's been converted, or a box car that's been converted into a sort of a work caboose / plow. And it is motorized. There is a switch on the bottom to turn it on, and I believe it spins when you turn it on. And it's got a light. I mean, a Rail King. Back in the day, Rail King really set the standard for great play value, relatively affordable semi-scale trains or scale. I mean, this is pretty close to scale. I mean, honestly, it's not that far away from scale. So pretty cool. And it's got that nice detail on the little snowblower there. I mean, what more can you ask? So Lionel should have bought this, or MTH should bring it out again. One of the two. So those are the little treasures that I found into the layout, and there's more. I could probably sit here for the next 3 hours talking about treasures into the layout. It's like going to the land of the enchanted land, down the rabbit hole when you go down there. Now then I've got two other things to show you. Now these are brand new, and I need to review them, but you're kind of getting a sneak peek. So these are freight cars that are made by RMT, Ready Made Trains. Now, in the past, Ready Made Trains has done mainly semi-scale, kind of like whimsical stuff. As I recall, they did those beeps, the RMT beeps. I think they did those little Easter egg things. I think were they cars or were they motorized Easter eggs? I can't remember. But anyway, long story short, RMT, to my knowledge, has never really been known for doing high-end scale models. They've always been sort of whimsical, more fun stuff, semi-scale stuff, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, but they sent me a couple samples of some really fine scale cars they are doing now. Really, I actually haven't taken them out of the box yet, but so there's a Soo Line box car right here, and there's a Nevada Northern ore car, so right there. And these are premium O scale. So yeah, the egg liners, that's what they were called, the egg liners. A lot of people collect them. I thought about collecting them, and then I thought, I collect enough things. I don't need to go down that rabbit hole. But let's take this thing out of the box. I'm curious of what it looks like. So they're really trying to push these sort of high-end scale cars that they're doing now. I don't know what the price is. I think it might be on their website. I don't think they're crazy expensive. Certainly less expensive than a Lionel, I think. Probably somewhere around the MTH Atlas neighborhood. Oh, they got this thing wrapped up. Okay, hang on a minute. Do I have my knife on me? Do I have my knife? Oh, there it is. Swiss Army knife. Okay. So they really got this thing wrapped up in a nice little package. I guess I'm gonna have to cut it. Okay. So let's see here. It's like Christmas morning. Oop, a little pop up there. Put some CA glue on that. But yeah, there it is. Sioux Lock Centennial Sault Ste. Marie 1955. And there's the underside. I mean, it's real nice looking. The trucks are metal. They have fake springs in there. They're just cast in metal springs. They don't really work. That's okay. And most importantly, the couplers work. Yeah, I mean, it's really nice boxcar. Now this little thing popped up on the end. Where is it? I think I've got. Okay, there it is. So there, the little walkway popped up again. But I will put a dot of super glue on that, CA glue, and it'll be good as new. See, when you get stuff like that, I've talked about this before, but when you get stuff like that, there's two ways to handle it. There's the way I do it, which is a drop of CA glue. 5 seconds later, it's fixed. That's the way I do it. Then there's the other way to do it, which is, I'm so mad at RMT. They screwed up this car. I'm never buying anything from RMT again. I'm going to call them, give them a piece of my mind. That kind of approach, which never fixes anything. Things happen in shipping. Things pop up. Things pop off. And if I cannot all fix it, I will. So there's that. We got another super thing. So let's see what we got here. Scott McComas, $10. He says, how do you keep the things you do you keep the things you test or mail them back? Most of the things I review, I buy. I mean, there's very few things that I review that are sent to me for free. And if they are, it depends on the company. I don't want to go too deep into that, but it depends on the company. Some companies are nicer than others about sending stuff. Some companies are more generous than others when it comes to whether they want it back or not. But it all depends on what it is. It's there's been a few times where Lionel has sent me a prototype for something to review, an engineering prototype, and that they wanted back. And so as much as I wanted to keep it, I had to send it back. I've got a story about that, about the K2, but I think I've told that. I'll be repeating myself. And then yeah, so most of them stuff like that, but stuff like, like they sent me those, and I don't think I don't think they want them back, but it's just a couple of freight cars. It's not that big of a deal, so it just depends. And they reached out to me. I mean, it's not, you can't just start calling up places and saying, "Send me stuff." It has to happen. Usually what'll happen is they'll reach out and say, "Hey, we've got this thing that we're really trying to push, and would you check it out for us?" You know, Lionel has done that before. Lionel doesn't send me legacy or Vision line steam engines because, well, for one thing, they know I'm going to buy it anyway. And then secondly, they're expensive. And then so what they have done before is that sometimes, every once in a while, their salespeople might reach out and say, "Hey, we've got this new Halloween building that we've made for this year, and we thought do you want to do a video on it or something like that? Or we've got this new Christmas building." It's usually some sort of specialty thing that they're trying to put out there and make people aware of. So it just depends. Let's see. Um, Scott McComas. That's not any relation to Tom McComas, is it? Um, Steve Williams, thank you. $10 donation. Wow, you guys are awesome. Okay, so that was the box car. Let's check out the little ore car. Box car was really nice. I'm impressed. I mean, the detail on this reminds me of I got the fingerprints all over it now, of course. Really nice sign. Look at that. How often do you see actual sign on the little wooden lading thing? I don't think I've ever seen someone actually put something on there. That is cool. I'm talking about that right there. Almost always that is just a blank wood grain piece. Oh, they did it on the front too. Yeah, see. That's really cool. I don't, to my knowledge, I can't remember ever seeing someone do that. That is really noteworthy. I'm glad I saw that. Um, I can see a couple issues. There's one of the decals is on a little crooked. So it's not perfect, but it's really nice. I mean, it's certainly, I don't know where I would put it. I don't know where I would slate it. Probably somewhere between MTH and Lionel, somewhere in there. Above Menards, below Atlas for sure, but somewhere in, but it's nice. So let's check out the ore car. I don't know how much these things are. I should, but I can't. I did go to the site and looked, but I can't remember what it was. It's a live unboxing. Okay. So there's the ore car. And again, this is nice. Die-cast metal trucks. So it's definitely above the Menards ore cars. I would put this, I would probably put this a notch below, just a notch below the MTH Premier Line ore cars. But depending on the price, I'm not sure what the price is on these things. Oops. I just dropped the ore load. But depending on the price, I don't know how much these things are. Menards is $24. Yeah. Someone says $7 cheaper than Menards. RMT has better details. Is it cheaper than Menards? I find that hard to believe. There's no way this can be cheaper than Menards. But yeah, it's really nice. And yeah, like I said, depending on the price, I'm not exactly sure what they are, but I would pay if someone asked me for an ore car like this, $30. I'd be comfortable with that. It's not perfect. Again, it does have some issues here and there. It's not absolutely perfect, but like this little tab popped out. Let me see if I can get that in there. There we go. There we go. Now that's better. Um, Someone says the rolling stock is 35. Yeah, $35. I mean, yeah, I would pay 35 for that. And 35 for this boxcar. Definitely, I would definitely pay $35 for this thing. I mean, that is cool. That sets it apart right there. That little lading thing there. I mean, that is cool. I've never seen anybody put something on there before. So they get big points for that. Um, it's not perfect, but it's good. It looks like it's better quality than Menards. I'd have to test it on the way out to be sure, but it's not hard to beat Menards quality. Menards isn't about quality; they're about the price. Um, so yeah, those are the RMT cars. Pretty cool, pretty cool. So let's stop and we'll take some questions real quick. 29.99. The ore car is the ore car $35. Yeah, I mean I think that's a very fair price for that. I think it's better than Menards. Based on my cursory examination, I'd say it's a notch above Menards. Not quite MTH quality or Lionel quality, and certainly not Atlas, but uh, a notch above Menards for sure. Which is fantastic. Which is really exciting because uh, that means that Menards is you know the thing about Menards. The thing I worry about with Menards sometimes is that I don't know how long they're going to be making trains for, and so this is nice. This means there's another company at that bottom end making some nice, affordable trains, which is a big deal in this hobby. Um, and the reason I say I don't know how long Menards is going to be selling trains is because John Menard, the founder of Menards, is pretty old, and once he dies, the reason they make the trains is because of him. Once he's gone, I don't know if the people who take over will look so fondly on the trains. We'll have to see. Um, anyway, so we'll take some questions. Let me move this so I can better see the question screen. Got a high-tech operation here. Okay. Eric, do you ever sell any of your stuff? Not really these days. I tend to I give away more stuff than I sell, uh, because it's just I kind of made a rule. It's not a written rule or anything like that, but years ago, I used to, back in the day, maybe if you go back 5, 6, 7, I don't know, I'm old now. Oh, years ago, I used to every now and then I would sell some stuff. I would say, "Hey, I'm going to sell this stuff," and I'd put a listing of it on my Facebook page, and um, people would people would buy it. And that was the nice, that was the nice thing about having a popular channel, was that I didn't need to go through eBay or anybody else. I could just sell it directly to people who wanted it. And so I sold some stuff, and most of the stuff that I sold, I don't regret selling, but there's some things that I do regret selling. And so at a certain point, I said, you know what? As a general rule of thumb, I'm not selling anything anymore, because I don't want to turn around and regret it. Now, does that mean I'll never sell anything again? No. But right now, that's the thinking. And again, I probably give away more stuff than I sell. When I have my open house, I give away stuff to little kids, and when I have these live shows, I do some giveaway, a couple giveaways, and then when I do when we do the Christmas raffle, I give away stuff. So I probably give away more trains each year than I actually sell, because the number that I sell is zero, other than the ones that are custom runs. Those are sold. um, okay, what year of the Big Boy is the best? Are you talking about the model of the Big Boy, like which Lionel Big Boy is the best, or you'll have to clarify that. Um, let's see here. Do you have 4 Visionline triplexes now? No, I have 3 now. We will have 4 before it's all said and done. We're waiting on the superset, which who knows when that's going to ship. I know there's a bunch of stuff coming in. I know there's some stuff coming in from Lionel, and I also heard that there's some stuff on a boat on the way that's kind of been delayed for whatever reason, and so I think the Milwaukee Road Atlantic is in there, but I don't know if the superset's in there or not. Lionel's notorious about, ever since they started the supersets. I love the supersets, but I wish they would arrive at the same time as uh, the standalone engines, because honestly, if that was all I ordered, if I ordered a superset and nothing else, um, I'd be a little pissed that everybody else was enjoying their standalone triplexes and doing videos and bringing them and running them and all that stuff, and I'm sitting here going, man, I spent an extra $1,500 and I don't have a superset, I don't have a triplex. Like, you know, I wish Lionel would coordinate and ship the supersets at the same time. I know why they don't. It's because the sets are made in a different way than the standalone engines. They require more work. The rolling stock is made in a different factory than the engine, and so they have to coordinate that and get them all packed up in the box. So that takes time. I get that. But honestly, I wouldn't mind if they just held back on the singles and just delivered them all. Well, I say that, but then my wallet would not like that. So it's kind of my wallet is very happy right now because things have been spread out more than they were last year. But I don't have my superset, so, and that's why I'm waiting to do a really full video on the triplex, because I want to do the superset. Let's see here. Okay, so he clarified that. What year of the Big Boy is the best? I don't know. I mean, I think generally speaking, Lionel gets better with each run of the model, and so um, I'd probably say whatever the most recent one. When was the last time they did a Vision Line Big Boy? It was last year or the year before. They had the superset, um, and so that was probably the best Big Boy they've done overall, because they've made it more efficient, the electronics and everything more efficient and everything. The thing about, like, for instance, last night, I don't know if you guys, I'll talk about the live feed. I need to talk about that, but past couple of nights I've been working on my original Vision Line Challenger, and the I've got 3 Vision Line Challengers. I've got the original 3989, and then I've got the 49er paint scheme and the Greyhound paint scheme that they did on the next run of the Challenger, which was a few years ago. Um, the the subsequent run of the Challenger, I can tell you hands down, is better than the first run of the Challenger, because the thing is, when Lionel first started doing the Vision Line engines, I mean, it was really cutting edge stuff. I mean, really, uh, the dynamo steam and the smoking whistle and the blowdown steam and all that stuff. I mean, that was brand new stuff, and they sort of had to figure it out as they went along. And so, if you look at the way things are done on the new Challenger versus the old Challenger, the new Challenger is much better laid out, in my opinion, at least. It's much more organized and dependable. Whereas the older Challenger, I have issues with it all the time. It's a great engine. I love it, but it's kind of like having a classic car or something like that, that you love, but you have to work on it a lot. And that Challenger, I have to work on it a lot because the smoke units, they've got these hoses going everywhere. There's a hose for the cylinder for the blowdown steam, which is just on all the time. The dynamo smoke is on all the time. Uh, and then the whistle steam, uh, that smoke unit, the combo unit for the whistle steam and the smokestack, that has issues. I've had to redo that a couple times. So the last couple nights I've been rebuilding the main smoke unit and the auxiliary smoke unit on the original Challenger. Um, the dynamo piece, the little piece for the dynamo that you can take off to load smoke fluid in, much better on the subsequent design. On the first design, it came off really easily. So if you turn the engine upside down or anything, if you just picked it up and turned it the wrong way, it would fall off onto the floor, and you'd be looking for it for the next half an hour. The new ones have a extra stem that goes in a hole next to it that really keeps it firmly in place. So yeah, I think generally speaking, when Lionel redoes a Vision Line engine, it gets better and better. Um, not only in how the technology package gets smaller and more efficient, but also in how the design gets better, and also how the features themselves get um, more well developed. So, if, for example, on the newest Big Boy, they did away on the first big Vision Line Big Boy. They had this special smoke unit that did the chuffs one at a time out of the stack. You'd get a chuff of smoke individually out of each stack as the engine ran, and it looked really cool. Okay, there's no denying that. However, um, once the engine got going pretty fast, it wasn't very obvious. And also, if you had the cap on the smokestack, the little deflector on the smokestack, you wouldn't see it at all. And so on the newest Vision Line Big Boy, they took a smoke unit away, replaced it with a single smoke unit for the smokestack, like they do on all their other steam engines, and they utilized that second smoke unit for the safety steam, the pop off valve steam, which in my opinion is way more obvious and eye catching than the individual chuffs. So again, that's an example of them sort of honing in on it and perfecting it and figuring out what works and what doesn't work and what can we do to make things more eye-catching and stuff like that. So that's a long-winded answer. Let's see here. Any word on the AEC glow in the dark legacy? No, the AEC glow in the dark set. I've got the B unit. They shipped the super base unit, but the set is still still has yet to be seen. And again, that goes back to what I was talking about with sets take longer than individual units. So that's why they have the super base, but there's no set because the set is being the cars are being made probably in Vietnam, where there's the engine is being made in China, and then they're having to ship to one of the groups to one of the other, and box it up and then ship it off. So it takes longer. The F-19s, yeah, someone says the F-19 should be at the distribution at the end of the week. I hope so. That F-19 is going to be cool. The F-19 is the one that had to go back to China to fix something. There was some sort of, from what I heard, some sort of cosmetic issue um, that had to be fixed, and so they had to send it back to China, which is fine. I think that when they did Strasbourg 90, they had to send it back to China about half a dozen times, um, which was good. They needed to do that. I wish Lionel would do that on every model they make. You know, if it's not right, send it back to the factory until it is right. These days, they tend to do it on ones that they know people are going to be really like Strasbourg 90. If they got anything wrong on Strasbourg 90, people were going to be livid because Strasbourg 90 has a lot of hardcore fans, and so that was something that they sent back. When does the 2025 Volume 1 catalog come out? I don't know. January? What is it? Usually come out in January, something like that. Any time now. Can the GE ES44 hybrid 2010's battery charge lights be off while the engine is on? Um, that's a good question. I don't know. I'd have to look at it. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. Um, I don't know. Um, I don't know. Hang on a second. Let's find out. I've got one right here. Okay. So if you can turn it off, there's probably going to be a switch in here, and run program. I don't know what that icon is. Smoke on and off, bell. I'm not sure. It's a good question. I could put it on the track and find out, but then I'd have to go off camera for a few minutes and and put it on the layout. So we'll get back to that. Give me 1 second. And my first answer is you can't turn them off, but in the back of my mind, I seem to remember running it without the running lights. Not that it matters. Those things are they're getting harder and harder to find in good condition. All right, let's see here. And that's why I wish they hadn't. See, if Lionel hadn't done away with the die-cast metal tooling for the ES44, and if they hadn't converted it to plastic, if they had kept it as a die-cast metal Vision Line model, they could have re-released it. And I guarantee you the re-release of it would be better than the original release. The original, that's another example of what I was talking about. The original Evo Evolution Hybrid, it's a fantastic model, cutting edge features for the time, but it was their first time doing it. And so as a result, it can be a bit of a, it's not finicky, but it's not the most efficient design. Let's put it that way. I don't, in the review, I don't know if I talked about whether they can be turned on or off. Hey, someone's here from the Netherlands. Let's see here. Someone heard about Star Wars and Lionel. Yeah, I think Lionel's gonna be doing some Star Wars themed trains. I don't know if I'll go down that rabbit hole. Do you still have those unmarked Weaver engines that were under the layout? Wow, this guy Riley Simmons, he's been a fan for a long time. Yeah, I do actually. I do still have them. I never got around to painting them or working on them and getting them up and running. But yes, I do still have them. They are GP38s, I think. Either GP38s or SD40s. All right, we'll do one more question, then we'll move on. Okay, this is does Lionel have any Via Rail Vision Line or other Via Rail trains? They don't have. There's no Via Rail Vision Line. There might be. They might have done some regular stuff. I know MTH did. But I don't know for sure. I think so, maybe. As somebody who with limited space and funds, how would you recommend someone getting into O gauge and eventually scale modeling? That's that's the eternal question, isn't it? I mean, I guess the best way to get into it. Holy crap! Okay, someone just gave me $300. Did you mean to do that? If so, wow, that's incredible. Thank you. I hope you meant to do that, or maybe I should say I hope you didn't mean. I don't know. Was that a mistake? Someone just did $300. That's incredible. That's wow. That's something. Wow. Thank you, voided J Dog. Wow, thank you so much. That's incredible. Even Lisa's saying wow. um, the if you don't have a lot of money and space, okay, I mean, it's just like anything. I mean, like you have to start off with what you can afford, and the cheapest O gauge trains, the cheapest new O gauge trains are going to be Menards. Um, and then if you go to a train show, if you can find a train show near you, that's a place where you can get really good deals on stuff, because at a train show, most people will haggle. I would probably say 99% of people there will haggle, especially if they're selling used trains. It's one thing if they're selling new, but used, they'll definitely be flexible on the price, and so you can definitely bargain and bundle and get stuff for less. And then you can get track. Menard sells inexpensive track, and when they're in stock, they have inexpensive switches, although they've been sold out for a while. So probably, Menards is probably these days probably the cheapest way to get into the hobby. And then you just go from there with what you can do. I mean, it also depends on your age and where you are in life and stuff like that. Like if it was a kid, if it was if you're a young person and you're asking, what I would say is start off small, and then go work hard in school and work hard in life, and um, work towards a career that will give you the disposable income to pursue your hobby the way you want. And then after that, when you're grown up and you have a job, you can really dive in and start getting the nice stuff that you always wanted as a kid. Now, if you're already an adult, um, it's a little bit different. You just have to kind of work with what you have, and work with what you can afford, just like any other adult. So, I don't know if you're a kid or an adult, but it's probably easier if you're a kid because you've got your whole life in front of you, so you can plan for it. Whereas if you're grown up, most of your life is starting to more and more your life is starting to be behind you instead of front of you, and so it gets a little bit harder to affect major changes, but it can be done. Um, so let's see here. Um, that was a very generous donation. That was crazy. Thank you so much again. I don't know what to say, quite frankly. Um, Someone says I got a CSX Heritage unit for half price. Yeah. So yeah, just if you don't have a lot of money, you have to be really vigilant and really. It's interesting that it's kind of a balance of life. If you don't have a lot of money and you don't have a lot of space, you have to work harder to find stuff that you can afford and that will fit in your space. Um, Later on in life, if you're able to get a career that affords you some disposable income, you don't have to work as hard to find stuff that will fit in your lifestyle, but it's going to cost a lot of money. So it's like it's kind of a balance of life, I guess. There, either way, you're working hard. You're either working hard to afford something or working hard to make the money to afford the more expensive stuff. So, you know, either way, you're working hard. It just depends on where you're at and how and what you can do. Where are Chessie and Frisco? Chessie was down here a little while ago, but he went back upstairs. Frisco usually doesn't come down here. I don't like it when he comes down here because he's harder. He likes to crawl into the deepest crevices of the layout where I can't reach him, and then getting him out is a challenge. You pretty much have to just let him come out when he's ready to come out. Whereas Chessie is a lot easier to get out. I can almost call him and he'll come and go upstairs. So all right, so what we'll do now is we'll do a little giveaway. We'll do some giveaway stuff. Okay. I don't like where that's at. Okay. I'm going to move this. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we'll start off giving away some stuff. So let me get my notes here, and then we'll go from there. I used to have a pen around. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's see here. This should be fun. All right. So the first giveaway is going to be for we're going to do an Eric's Trains t-shirt, just a black Eric's Trains t-shirt, size of your choosing. And what'll happen is if you're the first one to answer, well, like we've done before, if you're the first one to answer, I'll write your name, I'll write your username down, and then just email me with a screenshot of your profile. No personal information, but just a screenshot that it's your profile and that it's you, and then and what size you want, and your mailing address, and we'll send one off to you. So now the trivia questions, I got to think about these because it's been a while. Okay, so we'll start off. We'll start off with some an easy one. Okay. Well, that's not super easy, but okay. So the first Eric's Trains custom locomotive that I had made in 2021, I think it was 2022. Was a Lionel ES44. Okay. Appalachian Western Lionel ES44. For a t-shirt, what was the road number on that locomotive? Okay. All right, we have an answer. Looks like the first one that came up was PM Fan 1225. I guess he's a Pierre Marquette 1225 fan. So you won the T-shirt. So if you email me, eric@ericstrains.com with your a shot of your profile and your profile name, and then your name and mailing address and what size T-shirt you want, and we'll send that off to you. Now, I do have to put this disclaimer out there that I use a third party for the T-shirts these days, and so uh, there's good and bad to that. The good part is that it will eventually get sent out. The bad part is that I think they're a European operation, and so it can sometimes take a couple weeks for stuff to ship out. I think they're in Germany or somewhere. So PM Fan, and I think Lisa's writing this down too, but PM Fan 1225 won the T-shirt. Okay, and the road number was 2006. Just double checking. Yeah, it was 2006. All right. Now, okay, we'll do a second question. This one is for, we'll do an Eric's Trains. Well, should we do a T-shirt or a beanie? We'll do an Eric's Trains beanie. So it's a little beanie for your head for the cold months. It's black. It's got the Eric's Trains logo on it. Okay. So here's the next question. Was that guy's name Casey? PM 1225 is his name Casey? I don't know. Okay, so here is the next question. Okay, so the road number on that ES44 was 2006. Why was it 2006? What was the significance of 2006? All right. Okay, so this is close because someone said it was the year you started your layout, but that's not exactly right. The actual correct answer was Trainman 3, which he said it was the year you started your channel. So yeah, that was the year I started the Eric's Trains channel on YouTube, was 2006. So Trainman 3. Let me write that down. And if you don't win, it's not a big deal, folks. It's a hat. There's more important things in life. So Trainman 3 won the beanie. So again, eric@ericstrains.com, and just send me that, and we'll get that out to you as quickly as possible. Probably won't be before Christmas, but probably sometime late December or January, something like that. Oh, Lisa's coming down here. Tell me something. Okay, Lisa just came down to remind me of something important. She's watching the show from the couch, by the way. Here's very important to remember. Okay, there's a lot of scams going on YouTube where they'll tell you that you won something, and then they want you to pay for shipping, stuff like that. It's a very common scam on YouTube. But uh, if you get a message from somebody in the comments section saying you won, it is a scam. 100%, it is a scam. On any channel, really. If you ever get a comment saying you won, please text us at this number, it's a scam, plain and simple. Okay, so do not fall for that. Also, I had a viewer fall for that when it first started a couple years ago, and that was too bad. Um, so know that if anybody messages you in this comment section saying you won, it's a scam. Do not believe it. Also, more broadly, for the comment section and just in general, uh, I and most people who are doing legitimate giveaways on YouTube will never ask you for a cent. Okay. The only exception to that might be if you win and you're in England or something, or in Australia. We might have to work something out, but I will be very clear on that. And I'm not going to be pushing you for money. And you will be talking to me directly, not some random stranger on a text message. So you will never pay a cent. You won't pay. You would when you win something, it means it's free. You don't win something and then pay for it. That just doesn't make sense. So if anybody tells you you won something and they want you to pay anything, a processing fee, shipping, insurance, anything, it's a scam. Okay, just be aware of that. All right. Yeah, the comment bots and the scam bots are crazy. Every time I post a video on YouTube, every time I have to sit there for about 5 minutes and delete the bot comments. There are all these comments. They're usually two or three will come in, and it's something like, "What a great video! How do you get those great shots?" It's a question that seems legitimate until you look at the profile picture of it and it's some girl in her underwear, or whatever, or some girl in a bikini, which never happens. So it's a scam. Yeah. So I delete them and block them. YouTube doesn't seem to want to do anything about it, but it's I try to block them as much as I can. All right. Um let's see here. PM fan 1225. Do you not know how to send an email? Uh, I don't know what to tell you. um, the point of the chat bots, okay, the point of with chat bots and any scam in general, like um, they're playing a number. It's a numbers game. Okay, so I get texts every day that are scam texts. It'll be someone saying hello. You don't know who it is, and they're hoping you'll say, "Who is this?" And when you do that, automatically you've already told them someone is at that number, and now they can really pursue you and sell your number to other people saying, "Hey, this is a live number. There's a human being at this number." So if you ever get a text from a person you don't know, don't answer. Um, but anyway, it's most people know it's a scam. Uh, the night going all the way back to the Nigerian prince scam back in the day. 99.9% of people know it's a scam, but they're playing the numbers. If they send out 10 million of those and only point 0.5, only half of a percent of those people reply, it's a success. That's what it is. It's the same way spam works, spam email, companies that send out junk email. Most people just delete it and move on. But if they send out 20 million of those emails and 100 of them respond, it's worth it. So it's a numbers game. Oh, how much do you think your collection is worth now? I don't want to say that. Yeah, see, every time I see one of those, I report it to YouTube. I report it too, but they're not doing anything. The only thing you can do is that what I've done on mine is that I've if you go into your channel settings, you can block certain words and phrases from being used in your comments in the comments section. So I block stuff like phrases like "you've won" or "congratulations" or uh, "message me now" or and I also block foul language, of course. But you can block phrases and words, and that's what I do. I try to get all of that stuff so that it's harder for them to try to perpetrate that scam. All right, let's see here. We'll do one more trivia question, and then we'll maybe we'll bring Lisa in and get her opinion on stuff because she's the brains behind the operation. Okay, um, so this is for we'll do another T-shirt. We'll do an Appalachian and Western T-shirt, an AWRX T-shirt, and let me think about a good question. I'll do a hard question. Ugh. Um, let's see. Let's see. Gotta think of one that'll really stump people. Nah, I don't want it to be that hard. Um, let's see here. Hmm. 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 Okay. This is okay. This is a hard one. This might be unfairly hard. I don't know if anybody's gonna know this or not, but we'll try. We'll try. Um, what? Okay. Up to a certain point, um, when I started building my layout and got back into the hobby, I was really only doing diesel for a long time. For many years, I was just doing diesel. I really wasn't interested in steam because I was trying to have a modern railroad that just reflected modern times, and that's what I grew up with was diesel. And I really didn't have any steam. But finally, I opened Pandora's box and got my first O scale steam engine. So for the T-shirt, what O scale steam engine was it that I got? Okay, we have a winner. More people knew that than I thought. Okay, Old Low 1361 answered, and it was a New York Central Mohawk, and that is correct. MTH New York Central Mohawk, which I still have. So Old Low 1361, send me an email, eric@ericstreens.com, and with your profile picture, your name, your mailing address, and what size of t-shirt you want. All right, so it's kind of fun. I like doing the trivia. Did you write that down, Lisa? Yeah, she got it. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm going to hang on a second. Give me 1 second. I just had to get off. I had to blow my nose. Okay. I wanted to spare you guys the trauma of watching me blow my nose on camera. So you're welcome. Yeah, I think Tony needs a new t-shirt. Technical difficulties. But that would be a lie. All right, we'll do one more trivia. We'll do one more trivia question. And this will be for we'll do another beanie. I like the beanies. Those are cool. I've got one. I wear it. All right, so okay, this one should be, well, let me think. I might use a different one. I will do this anyway. What the hey? Okay, so the New York Central Mohawk was the first scale steam engine that I got. Before that, I was buying a lot of MTH diesels. But around 2005 or 2006, I can't remember. I think it was 2005. I bought my first TMCC equipped engine from Lionel. What was it? The road name and the engine. Okay. All right. So we've got a winner. Let me see who the winner is. Hang on a second. Okay. We have a winner. It looks like it was TKP Studios. TKP Studios. TKP Studios. Oops. Let me make absolutely positively sure. Yeah. Okay. So TKP Studios, you want a beanie, and he said it was a Union Pacific ST70, and that's correct. And it's still on the layout. I always keep it on the layout. So TKP Studios, send me an email, eric@ericstrange.com, and picture your profile, your name, your mailing address, and what, actually the beanies are all one size. So just name and mailing address. Now, if one of these winners is out of the country, we will have to talk about shipping, depending on where you are. The people that do the custom run, the merchandise, I think they're in Europe, so it actually might be cheaper for someone who's in Europe. But we'll figure it out. If it's something crazy obscene, we'll work something out. Someone says, "What's your oldest locomotive?" That's a hard one. My oldest modern locomotive, the first modern, which some people thought was the answer to the trivia question. The first modern locomotive that I got that is the oldest is an MTH Norfolk Southern dash 9 from 2004, I think, which I still have. It still runs, but it needs the lights don't work anymore, and so I need to either upgrade it to put a PS3 kit in there or Blue Nami. It still runs, but there's just no lights. The lighting board died. All right. So we'll do like I guess a grand finale giveaway. I'm not sure what it'll be. Maybe one of these cars behind me or something like that. We'll do a little grand finale giveaway at the end. So let's see. Are you ready? Okay. Well, we'll add Lisa in here.
Hi, everybody.
Lisa's about 10 feet above me.
Yeah.
So Lisa's she got the Halloween triplex. That was her first. I think was that your first engine?
That is the first engine I've purchased. My dad had given me some. But yeah, first engine in a long time. And I've really enjoyed it. The cars came in, the caboose is still on the way.
Okay, I think we're back. You there?
Oh, did I cut out or freeze?
No, I can't hear. You there?
I'm here.
Okay. All right. So was the triplex your first engine?
First engine that I've ever purchased myself, yes.
Yes. And she still has sticker shock from it.
Yes.
When she paid for the triplex, she said, I might have to not order that many trains per year or something like that. Now she buys trains for her dad.
I do. I usually get all of Eric's custom runs. I'm not sure if there's some freezing up going on the video.
You there? Are you there? I think we're having some issues with Lisa. Are you there? Let me I'm going to refresh my page here. We've gone to the limits of the of what the stream can handle. All right, let's see. Well, we're having some issues with Lisa's connection upstairs. It might be because she's on the Wi-Fi instead of the wired network. Maybe she'll come down here. I'll have her. She'll rejoin in a minute, but hopefully the I think it might be because you're on the Wi-Fi. See, she's down here. I engineered that. I made it so her computer would quit. See. So yep, she got the triplex, and I should have put on the Santa hats, but I couldn't. I didn't go get the Santa hats before the show. So, um, but you sent your dad the ES44, the caboose, the switcher,
Mhm.
the speeder, and now the steam engine.
Yep.
Soon to be the flat car. I should talk for a minute about the custom runs that we're doing, but I'll talk about that after Lisa's. So, is there anything you're looking forward to?
Looking forward to.
Yeah, any incoming trains.
Um, I'm really excited about that Erie, the superset that you're getting,
Oh
the
yes,
Vision line.
yes.
That'll be great. Let's see.
There's that glow in the dark set. I think you're excited about that.
I am.
Yep. So,
And that one doesn't run off of black light, unlike the Vision line.
yeah. The AEC set just runs off. It glows off a regular light instead of black lights like the Halloween triplex in the passenger cars. So, speaking of which, I got a roll of black tape, black light strip lights that I'm going to put in the tunnel, and that way when the triplex and the passenger cars come through, they'll get charged up by the black lights. So it should be pretty cool. Yep. So anyway, yep. Now Lisa didn't buy me a train for Christmas, if that's what you're wondering. What she did buy me was well, we bought each other a new mattress, which mattresses are insanely expensive, especially Sleep Number mattresses. And so we bought each other that for Christmas. and then she also got she got me one of the new Mac Minis that I'm going to actually use as a streaming server for the layout feed, which I'll talk about now or in a minute. So, but anyway, thanks for stopping by.
Sorry, my computer died.
Anyway, so see ya. Anyway, so the live feed. So I've got a live feed that is on that I restarted it a couple. Let me go back. So for probably the last prior to earlier this year, prior to April of this year, for I don't know how long, probably 6 or more years, I always had these layout cams that were down here. I had 4 of them, and they were made by a company called Dropcam, which eventually became Nest, which eventually was acquired by Google. The original Dropcams and the Nest cams, you could do it. You could click a button in the app and share the cam publicly. And so what I did is I embedded those cameras in my website, ericstrains.com, so that people could see the layout. So they could see the layout. And those were up for a number of years. The video quality wasn't fantastic, but it was okay, and it had sound. If it wanted, I would turn the sound on sometimes. And so those were up for a number of years. Well, then Google, as of April of this year, earlier this year, they ended all support for the older drop cams, which essentially turned them into paperweights. Way to go, Google. Nice and environmental choice there. So all those cameras were essentially useless. They can't be hacked. They can't be. I tried hacking them to try to get them to work on their own, and they won't. They're hard coded to work for that specific service. So I was kind of I didn't know what to do, and so I couldn't find any other webcam on the market that really had that ability to go public, to make it a public webcam. So then I said, okay, well, I'm going to have to figure this out on my own on how to make a public webcam. And that took for a while. I mean, I wasn't working on it 24 hours a day or anything, but it took up until a couple weeks ago when I finally sat down for a whole weekend and just like banged it out. Like I think it was over Thanksgiving break that I sat down for like 6 hours and just banged it out and got it working. And I already had bought a couple of them, but I couldn't get them to work. And then finally, I got the right software and got them working. And then I ordered 2 more. So now I have 4 webcams down here for the layout. And so I have reestablished the layout feed, except this time, instead of being on my website, it's through YouTube. It's a live YouTube stream. So if you look on my channel, you will see that live stream going on right now as we speak. At the moment, there's a card there that just says there's a live show in progress. Come back later. But when I'm done with this, I will turn the cameras back on and you'll be able to see the layout. Now, I've been trying to figure out the best way to use these cameras because I don't think either I'm not explaining them well, or I'm not using them well, or people just aren't understanding me well enough. I don't know what it is. But I think some people have the idea that the live layout feed, as I call it, is some sort of a show like this, like what we're seeing here, where you're gonna turn it on, and I'm gonna be running trains 24 hours a day, and you can just see whatever you want 24 hours a day. And it's not that. It's not that at all. It is purely a live feed that is on regardless of what is going on with the layout. I could be in California on vacation and the cameras would still be on showing the layout. Uh, the way I think of it is it's kind of like having a window in the side of my house where people can come up and look inside and see the layout. Sometimes, and just like looking in a window of someone's house, sometimes I'm going to be down here doing trains. Sometimes I'll be down here just working on trains, really boring stuff. Sometimes I'll be down here cleaning. Sometimes I'll be down here installing new cases. And sometimes I won't be down here at all. Sometimes I'll be asleep or working, or whatever. So they're just, they are purely just a live feed of the layout. And they're not meant to be any kind of guaranteed show at all. If you see me running trains, great. If not, those are the breaks. And I think people, I think they're disappointed. I think they're a little disappointed or something. Like they're like, "Can you run the trains? Like there's nothing going on right now. What's going on? Nothing's going on." And it's like, it's not meant for that. It's just meant to see the layout. And so I'm not sure if I'm going to continue the feed or not, or in what capacity to use it. It's hard to tie it into these shows because I'm doing these shows through a software called StreamYard, but so I don't know. I probably could tie it into here in some way, but it's I use anyways. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know if it's something I should just leave up 24 hours a day, or if it's something that I should just use sparingly when there's actually something to see. So I guess I'll let you guys decide that. It's not the most exciting thing always, and a lot of times, like this time of year, when I am down here running the trains, I'm filming for videos, and so it's not exactly the most exciting thing. It might not be the most exciting thing to watch. So it might be. I might be just doing the same run by the camera 5 or 6 times to get the right shot, because anybody who's ever shot videos for their channel knows that it's not as easy as just setting up the camera and getting one shot. It's sometimes it takes 5 or 6 passes to get that shot just like you want it. And so So all it is just a voyeur into the layout. It just allows you to see what's happening, if anything's happening. Um, it's kind of like having a window in the side of the house. So I don't know if anybody likes that or not, but I'm going to leave it up for now. Anyway, the Mac Mini that right now I'm running it off of my computer that I'm using right now, and so I have to leave this computer on 24 hours a day to keep the stream up. It's on 24 hours a day, but I have to leave it awake 24 hours a day. Um, and so I was thinking, Apple just came out with the new Mac Mini, and if for any of you guys who are into Apple stuff, the new Mac Mini is a steal. I mean, it is such a good deal. Just the basic one. Now, if you get the more advanced ones, they get pretty expensive. But the basic Mac Mini, it's tiny. It's about like that big, and it's 599, and it's got an M4 chip and plenty of memory and storage, enough for basic stuff. So I'm going to use that Mac Mini as a dedicated webcam streaming server. So once it comes in, which will be later this week, I'm gonna transfer the stream over to the Mac Mini, and that way the Mac Mini can just stay on the shelf and stay on all day and night, and I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about rebooting my personal computer or anything like that. I can just leave it up and running all the time. So that's that's what the Mac Mini's for. So that's going to be pretty cool. And I think the new webcams have better video and better sound than the old ones. I think it's HD of some sort. I don't know if they're 4K, but I think they're pretty good. They're pretty good quality. The people who have seen it have commented that it looks a lot better than the old feed. So they're pretty nice. The cameras I'm using are made by a company called Amcrest, and they seem really good. I like them a lot. So it was a pain in the butt to get them installed because they're wired cameras. I didn't want wireless because wireless is unreliable. I wanted wired. Like when I do these shows, when I do these shows, I'm using a wired connection right into my router. I'm not using Wi-Fi because Wi-Fi it can be flaky. And Wi-Fi is never as fast as a wired connection. And I've got 5G, not the cell service. I've got 5 gigabit service from AT&T, so it's lightning fast. And so Wi-Fi won't make use of that, whereas the cable connection will. So the new cameras are running on they're wired cameras, and I had to run about 100 and some odd feet of Cat 6 cable through the ceilings here, and then all the way to the router, and it was a whole weekend of work. It was a pain, but I think it's cool, and I hope you guys enjoy the layout feed. Again, it's not going to be exciting all the time, but I think the best way to view it is it's like a window. It's like if I cut a window in the side of my house and everyone had access to go look in the window. It's kind of like when you go to a factory, if you go to like the Hershey factory, or when I went on a tour of the Coors brewery in Golden, Colorado years ago, and they have a big old window above the assembly line where they're making the beer and canning the beer and all that stuff. And on the day we went through, there was nothing happening. There was nothing going on. You could see where they had been boxing up some beer, but that particular day that I was there was nothing going on. If you go to a chocolate factory, they'll have a window where you can watch the inner workings of the factory. Sometimes there's nothing going on. They might not be making it that day, so it's luck of the draw whether you're going to see anything. But I thought it was a cool idea. I've got the equipment, I've got the bandwidth. Why not do it? So anyway, are you asking what my Facebook is? It's Eric's Trains. If you just search Facebook for Eric's, if you go to facebook.eric's trains, I think that goes there. Or it might be facebook.com/Eric's Trains might work too. I don't know. Let me see. Well, if you Google Eric's Trains Facebook, you'll go to it. But I think if you go to facebook.ericstrains.com, if I still have that set up. Yeah, facebook.ericstrains.com will take you to my Facebook page. Let's do some more questions. What time is it? 8 o'clock. We've been going for 2 hours now. Okay, we'll go for a little while longer. Then we'll do one more giveaway, and we'll call it a day about, I guess, about 8:30. I'm having fun. So someone says, what do you think about Lionel's operating accessories? The ice loader, the steel loader, the log loader, sawmill. If you're talking about the original post-war versions, um, I assume you're talking about the original post-war versions. I think they're great. I think they're I think the coolest thing about the original Lionel accessories from the 40s and 50s is that is the truly astounding thing about everything they made back then was what they were able to accomplish without processors, without what do you call it? Without any of the modern electronics that we have now, chips, processors, um, anything like that. Nowadays, you can program a chip, you can take a Raspberry Pi and program an accessory with it. But back then, it all had to be electromechanical. And so it was amazing what they were able to accomplish with just, you know, 14 to 18 volts AC, and a solenoid motor, a solenoid and a motor, and maybe a couple other things. But so it was uh, truly astounding what they were able to do. Now, the downside of that was that the original accessories, when they were working in perfect operating shape, they were great. The problem was they required a lot of upkeep, and they required perfect conditions to operate. So you had to install them right and mount them right and keep them in good working order, keep them lubricated. If you did all that, they could work okay most of the time. But as we all know, any of those post-war accessories, they don't work perfect all the time. Some of the time they work, some of the times they don't. So, some of them are more reliable than others. The lumber loader was a really reliable one. Uh, Other ones were less dependable, like the horse corral and the horse car and the coil unloader and loader. Those could be problematic, So they were cool. They were ingenious. Not the most reliable things in the world, but very cool. Now the modern interpretations, whenever they do a reissue, they will do a modern version that uses modern electronics and processors, and those tend to be, although they don't have the nostalgia and the lore of the post-war counterparts, they are much more reliable, and work much more dependably over time. So, you know, that's how it is. I hope that answered your question. um, yeah, I mean, the post-war engines. I mean, the way they did smoke. The smoke was a mechanical smoke unit. Everything was electrical or mechanical or electromechanical. Um, the horn in the diesels was a doorbell buzzer. The whistle on the steam engines was an air whistle. It was a real air whistle. There was a little fan that turned a motor that turned a fan that blew air through a whistle. Um, so it was amazing what they were able to do with the technology and the resources at the time. Um, but you know, people might be saying that about stuff now around nowadays, 50 years from now too. Who knows? I look at I mean, you look at like uh, I'm kind of a big space nerd, and like you look at the Apollo missions and what they did with the technology of the 1960s was nothing short of just monumental. I mean, just inconceivable. I mean, the amount of the technological leaps they had to make to get someone to the moon and back was just mind-boggling, and they did it. And they did it with technology that is about 1/100th of what we have now, or more. I mean, they did it with computers that, I mean, your iPhone is about 10 million times faster and has more processing capabilities than the computers they had for the Apollo mission. And they worked, but they worked, and that was amazing. It just shows what the human. It just shows determined to do something. You can do anything if you put your mind to it. If you decide this is what we're going to do. We talked about the base 3 earlier. Someone asked me about it, so I'm not going to go over that. You can watch it if you want to replay the video. That was, I think, one of the first things we talked about was the base 3. My opinion on AI. I don't want to get into AI. I use AI. I use ChatGPT nowadays for to write my. I don't use it to for my reviews that I write for OGR magazine. I don't use it to write the reviews. I did mess around with it once and tried to get it to write a review for one of the, like a new Lionel model, but it was just garbage. It just spit out garbage. It was completely just useless. So it's no good for, and I wouldn't want to do it for that anyway. That was just a kind of proof of concept just to see if it would. But what I use it for, and what I think it's great for, is proofreading and just grammatical improvements. I'll write my review, the raw review, and then rather than sitting there and trying to proofread it myself, I'll stick it into ChatGPT, and it proofreads it and makes little improvements on it. It doesn't change the content at all. It just changes it just improves the grammar, periods in the right place, commas and stuff like that. Rephrases a couple little things here and there. I don't always use its improvements. Sometimes I go back to what I had before, but probably about 95% of what it suggests I use. But it's not creating the content at all. It's just proofreading it and making it it's like having a second set of eyes on it. Let's see here. The Cold War Space Race Lionel. Someone I love the Cold War Space Race Lionel cars and accessories. Yeah. The truth, I don't know if you know this or not, but the reason Lionel made all those space and military and cars in the late 1950s and into the 60s, it wasn't because they thought it was cool. It wasn't because they really wanted to. It was because they had to. They were losing, starting in the mid to late 1950s, Lionel sales started to go down, and they were losing kids to other things like slot cars and space toys and stuff like that. And so that was their way of competing with it, was to bring out space and military related trains to try to try to get back some of the kids they were losing to those other toys. I can't read that. Lisa wants to be back on for a minute. I guess she has something to say. But yeah, so that's why they did that. That's why Lionel does anything, is because they need, I mean, why do you think they're making Star Wars stuff? Do you think it's because they really think Star Wars trains are going to be great? No, it's because they want to appeal to those people. They want to bring in people that, I mean, that's a whole mess of money that they can bring in from Star Wars fans. Anyway, Lisa wants to be on again, so we'll add her back. Hopefully her camera won't crap out. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's up?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I hate technical difficulties. But I did want to make sure that, I shared a couple of awesome things that happened this year. When we went to Trainapalooza in Detroit, seeing all of those other people's layouts and the inspiration. I mean, it's awesome.
That was really cool. We saw some cool layouts up there. We saw some
Yeah,
layouts that make
and
mine look like amateur hour.
I wouldn't say that, but there are some people that have a lot of time and money and everything into tiny details that really impressed me. And I'm sorry you just saw Roro here hanging out with me.
There were some awesome layouts out there. I finally got to see Norm Charbonneau's layout. That was really cool.
It was.
I forget what that guy's name was. Was it Bob Shaw or something like that? Who had
It was Bob.
all those ships and planes too?
Yeah,
What was his
Bob.
name?
His first name was Bob. I remember that. I
It was
mean,
Bob Shaw or somebody, but like he had an incredible layout. I mean, that made mine look like garbage. I mean, that was incredible.
it didn't
And
make yours
Norm's
look
layout
like
is amazing
garbage,
too.
but
What's that?
it didn't make yours look like garbage, but he had so many different, oh my gosh, he had a theme park built into his layout and just things that you don't
You had
have.
a mine that was underground. Like
Yeah.
you could squat down and see the mine and the levels of the mine and stuff like that. I mean, that was really, really cool. And Norm's layout was really cool too. The thing I like about Norm's layout is that it's really, it's unlike a lot of other people's layouts where they have multiple levels, like mine.
Mhm.
It's just one level. It's just a loop of track. It's just a circle, like a big oval, but it's like so detailed. Like every little square nanometer on that thing is just so detailed and weathered. It's incredible. So it was nice seeing
Well,
a layout that was not complicated design wise, but was very intricate, details and scenery wise.
Norm's weathering has inspired me to, I want to be part of the hobby with you. And perhaps maybe I'm not somebody who's going to purchase more than 1 or 2 trains a year because I have a budget that is maybe a little bit smaller than yours. But
Aw.
weathering and learning how to do graffiti and things like that, working on the layout itself. I mean, those are all parts that I've learned from a lot of women. They are really interested in being a joint partner with men who are in the hobby. And I'm super excited to see where we go next year.
Yeah. I think we're going to go back to Trainapalooza. Maybe we'll see.
Well, Trainapalooza and York, but I mean, what we do on your layout, I'm excited about that.
Hey. Cool.
Anyway, I wanted to say happy holidays to everybody who's out there, and thank you all so much. I hope that you enjoy the
She's a lot better than
feeds.
I am. She's got the social graces that I don't.
Well, I hope that you enjoy the feeds. I am now very conscientious that when I go down there to give Eric a hug or a kiss or let him know dinner's ready, that that could be on camera. Somebody could be watching. So
I'll
All
probably, like I did with the previous feed, I'll probably establish a schedule with it where it's on and off at certain times a day. So we'll see.
well, anyway, thank you all so much as fans. And anyway, I'll let it go back to the man.
Oh, all right. I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, that was nice. So okay, so All right. So, well, that was fun. She reminded me of something I wanted to talk about, and now I can't remember what it was. Um, oh well. Um, we'll take a couple more questions, and then we'll, and then we'll call it a night. We'll do a couple questions, and then we'll do the final trivia for the I guess you call it the grand prize. And that. Oh, I wanted to talk about the Eric's Trains custom runs. So, and feel free to give me your feedback on this, both on the in the chat and on Facebook or wherever. Uh, there's a couple custom runs we're thinking of doing. One is doing a second run of the cabooses because Legacy Station has told me that they get requests for that every now and then, and so they're thinking a second run of the Eric's Trains cabooses would be a good idea. Allow people who didn't get one the first time to get one. The other custom run idea right now, at least prior to the 2025 Volume 1 catalog coming out, is an Atlas GP30. So this would be an Atlas XMTH GP. So it'd be an Atlas GP30 with Protosound 3. And so we're thinking of doing that. I'm working on a mock-up right now with it. Oh, sorry. Val at Legacy Station wants to have the swoosh back on there from the ES44. I don't mind the swoosh, but I want to have the actual AWRX logo on there too. But so we're thinking about that. So there's a couple things in progress, in the works, but nothing definite yet. And of course, when the new one comes out, the new Lionel catalog, that will probably affect the decision of what to make. I've got it on here. See, I would have loved to have the Eric's Trains Doodlebug. So that's still an idea. Or the Eric's Trains. Nope, that already came out. I don't have it on here, but the 060. So we'll see what's in the Lionel catalog. But yeah, we're thinking about doing the caboose again. I think the caboose was around, if I remember correctly, about $130. I want to say for the caboose, something like $20, somewhere in that neighborhood. All right, so we'll do a couple questions, and then we'll end it with the trivia. Another bay window or a different one, probably the same bay window again, unless Lionel happens to catalog some just killer other caboose. Probably the bay window again. There was an advantage to doing the Atlas GP30 that I'm not going to mention here, but I'll let that be a surprise. All right, so we could do an Atlas ST70. I mean, we could do that too. Someone keeps asking if Lionel is going to make a Brightline train set. What is a Brightline train set? I can't remember what that is. The answer is probably no. Usually, okay. So let me teach you something about Lionel here. Okay, Brightline. Okay, there it is. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. The answer to that is no. Let me teach you something about Lionel here, son. Sit down and let Uncle Eric teach you a little something about Lionel. Lionel, they are very, very, they're very averse to brand new engine toolings because it's expensive. I mean, there's a reason it's expensive, very, very expensive. So Lionel typically they don't tool up brand new engines that often. Like we were talking about earlier, I mean, the last really brand new tooling for a steam engine or any engine that Lionel did, probably longer than probably 5-10 years. Most of the stuff they put out is usually older tooling that's been updated and modified, tooling that has been bought from somebody else like MTH or Weaver. Um, it's a rare thing if Lionel tools up a brand new engine from scratch. It does happen, but it doesn't happen very often. Um, and so usually the answer to is Lionel going to make fill in the blank? If they've never made it before, and if it is a locomotive that they don't have tooling for, you can bet the answer is probably going to be no. Um, and that's just, unfortunately, that's just the way it is. I mean, everybody has trains they love Lionel to make. I've got trains I love them to make, but tooling is expensive, and they are very hesitant to spend that kind of money on a brand new tooling. Um, the only stuff, like I said, you'll see them use the phrase new tooling in the catalog all the time, but that doesn't mean that almost never means a brand new tooling. It means it's a new tooling. Like okay, so it's like, you know, it's like, okay, you might take a car like the 2023 F-150, okay, and everything on the 2023 F-150, and then the next year for 2024, they put different style headlights on it. Okay, they modify the 2023 a little bit and make it different, and then they say the all new F-150. Now, technically, it's all new. I mean, they've never done that exact one before, so technically, it is all new, but it's the same thing. It's just been modified and updated. And that's usually what Lionel does when it comes to new tooling, is that it's one of several categories, I think. Now, I don't work there. I could be talking out of my butt, but I think it's usually, um, if they're saying it's new tooling, it's usually a, and maybe this is an order of possibility, but it's usually a tooling they bought from somebody else and have brought into their stable. It's a tooling that they've had for a while, but and they've brought it back and modified it, modernized it. Maybe they added whistle steam or cylinder steam or swinging bell. Then they call it a new tooling, or it's an existing tooling that they did a partial retool for. So, for example, I'm trying to think of a good example that I probably can't off the top of my head. But for example, like, the difference between, oh gosh, I'm going to get myself in trouble here. The difference between um, some steam engines and other steam engines, they're only slight differences, and so they might say, okay, let's retool tool up a new front for this engine, a new boiler front, because the rest is pretty much the same on the other type, but what distinguishes it is the front. So we'll tool up a new front and pair it with what we already have, and that's new tooling. Okay, so it's sort of a fancier version of a modified older tooling, is what it is. So, um, and I can't think of engines right off the top of my head that are like that, but you know what I'm talking about. There are engines um, where one type of steam engine is very similar to another. There's just some subtle differences in how it looks. That's the part they tool up, and then they put it in there and call it, now we've got this type of steam engine. That's what that's all about. Lionel, and then finally tooling up a brand new model from scratch, which is very, very, very rare. They don't do it very often. If they're gonna tool up a new engine, my guess, based on my conversations with Lionel, which are not that many. Again, I don't have a lot of insight into them, but my hunch is that if there is a newly tooled steam engine in the future, I think they're going to bring back the C&O Yellow Belly. And the problem with the C&O Yellow, well, okay, I think they're either going to bring back either the C&O Yellow Belly or the T1, um, or both eventually. Not probably not at the same time, but eventually I think they're going to bring back both the Yellow Belly and the T1. The problem is that they've done a T1 before, but the original T1 they did, they had to destroy because it was part of their lawsuit settlement with MTH back years and years ago. So they did a T1 in 2000, I think, and then they had to destroy the tooling, so they no longer have the T1 tooling. However, they have told me that they have given thought to tooling up a new T1 because they know people really want it. And I suspect they probably have some partial tooling that you would need for the T1. So they would probably be able to repurpose some stuff, and get a newly tooled T1. And then the other thing I think they're going to bring back is the C&O Yellow Belly. And again, I think they lost the original tooling for the Yellow Belly. I don't think they have it anymore for whatever reason. And I think they lost it. And I've heard a couple times that they're thinking about bringing back the Yellow Belly. And so again, that is probably something they will pull in some tooling from some other steam, because you think about the C&O Yellow Belly, certain parts of it are not that different from other steam engines. I mean, like the tender is pretty similar to other tenders that Lionel already has. So what they'll probably do is pull in some of that, tool up the parts of the Yellow Belly that are missing, and then bring out the Yellow Belly again. And the same with the T1. They'll probably use what stuff they can that's already on hand, and then tool up the rest. So that's my best guess of what the next newly steam engines from Lionel are going to be, is the C&O Yellow Belly and the T1, the Pennsy T1. Other than that, if it's something like the Brightline or some Japanese turbo train or something, like it ain't gonna happen. If it's the successor for the Acela, the Avelia, whatever it's called, probably not. Um, Unless they can take the Acela tooling and somehow adapt it into the Avelia, whatever Avelia is, whatever it's called, maybe. But like the chances of them tooling up a brand new Avelia is probably not very likely. But we'll see. You never know. Anyway, uh, it's 8:30, so let's do the final trivia for the final giveaway. So the final giveaway is going to be this car with the plow, this Rail King Union Pacific plow car in all its glory. Ooh, look at that. So, now for this one, I gotta think of a really hard question here. So let me see here. A really hard trivia question. Gotta trip up some of you guys really good. It'll be something about this channel, but I gotta think for a minute. I should have thought about this beforehand, but I didn't. Oh boy. That's too hard. I can't ask that one. Nobody will get that. Hang on a second. I think Lisa has an idea. You might be surprised. Okay. All right. We got a good one. This is Lisa. This was Lisa's idea. This is a good one. Okay. So for the plow. All right. We recently did the Eric's Trains. The most recent custom run is the Eric's Trains 460 10-wheeler steam engine from Lionel. Okay. And we did a custom builder's plate on that engine. There is a number on that builder's plate, like the serial number for the engine. What does that number represent? For the grand prize. All right, we got a winner, and this is one who's been on for a while. NepsiNet CEO. I know he's going to be happy. He's been on watching the layout feed. So NepsiNet CEO. Let me write this down. Got the answer, and the answer is it is the date of Lisa and I's first date, which was September 12th, 2021. So the serial number on the engine is 091221. And NepsiNet CEO got it. So congratulations, you won the plow. That was a tough one. That was a tough one. All right, so we did that. So we got I guess that's the final giveaway. And this is when people start signing off because they're like, he's not giving away anything else. I'm out of here. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. So now I didn't run any trains tonight, but don't worry about it. There's plenty of videos coming in the next couple weeks of trains running on this layout. Trust me. We got the Bonanza coming up. Plenty of videos on product reviews and whatnot all. And I've got a couple videos coming out before the Bonanza begins that I hope you guys will like as well. One that I've been working on for a really long time, but it's taken a while to finish it. But hopefully hopefully you'll like it. So that's it. Yeah. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed the trivia. It was fun having the little podcast thing. I guess if you get it wrong, I could do this one.
Incorrect.
Does anybody know what that comes from?
Incorrect.
I should ask a trivia
Incorrect.
about that. What does that come from?
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
What else do we have? We got that's loud. I don't know why they have a heartbeat on here. Some of these came stock with it, and it came stock with about 7 sound effects, and then the other ones I loaded, like the Austin Powers and the Jeopardy and stuff like that. I loaded those in there, but yeah. Anyway, so that'll do it for now. Thanks for everyone for tuning in, and stay tuned for the rest of the videos for this month. And who knows, I might do another live show before the end of the year, but we'll have to see how it goes. But it won't be on January 1st. I can guarantee that. So that's going to do it for now. I hope everybody enjoyed this, and thanks for tuning in. And really appreciated the questions. And of course, I really appreciate everybody who's stuck around and been a subscriber all these years. And supported the channel and all that kind of stuff. So it's great. The support is just crazy generous, like earlier. So thank you so much for that, and just thanks for everything. And I hope you hope to put out more videos that you like in the future. Got a whole mess of videos in the bag. It's just a question of how fast I can get them done. So anyway, that'll do it. So have a good Sunday night. Have a good week. And I will see you for the Christmas Bonanza. Later.